Audi TT Mk1 project progress and job list.
Hi all, Andy here and welcome back to the channel. This week I figured, as so many of you have been asking for an update about my own project car, I would give you an update over what I've completed over the last 6 months. Some of the projects I've undertaken over the last 6 months have been planned, some of them not so much. I would be very much interested to know how your TT projects are going on around the world right now, so please do leave a comment below, give me an update, let me know what you've been working on. If you have found today's video useful, please think about giving it a thumbs up. Also think about subscribing for future content on the Audi TT. I would recommend checking out the video on my channel that covers the project car 6 months ago, so you can see what I had planned then and see what I've actually completed. So without further ado, let's take a walk around the car and see what jobs I've undertaken.
First up is the replacement hood. Although I covered the resticking of the glass on my old hood on the channel, and yes, I did get this to work, a few days later and the back window got smashed. Nothing to do with the workmanship I may add. I have completely removed the old roof and replaced it with a used hood, and again documented the removal and refitting process here on the channel. A link can be found above.
The black bodywork.
Or more precisely, restoring the front grille. Mine was looking really tired and the black plastic had turned grey and faded. I would recommend following a process of scrubbing it as clean as possible with a good degreaser and detergent, drying it and then applying a coat of black trim restorer and a final coat of back to black spray or similar. These before and after shots really show the difference it made. I would advise against trying to spray it with black plastic spray paint. In time this too will look naff and you are likely to be stuck with a flaking or patchy grille.
The black scuttle panel.
I did cover the cleaning and removing of the scuttle panel in the cabin air filter video here on the channel, and a video link can be found in the description. Wiper arms need to come off to get this off the car. Loads of rubbish had built up behind mine and it was discoloured, but looks great now.
The headlights have been redone.
Redone is not a great phrasing here, but I'm referring to the restoration of the lenses. For that I took light meter readings before and after to make sure the sanding, rubbing with cutting compound and sealing with the headlight sealant made a difference. I was astounded by the results and I highly recommend checking out my video detailing it linked above. This is a job anyone can do to their car to make a real difference. While I was in a cleaning mood with the grille and scuttle, I set about refreshing the engine bay. So I removed what I could from a component perspective and gave it a very thorough cleaning. This included degreasing the hinges and re-greasing, cleaning all of the plastics, wire brushing the metalwork, scrubbing and rejuvenating the hoses and giving it a general clean up. Makes a real difference when popping the bonnet and happy to show someone how clean it is.
I've also undertaken some mechanical jobs over the last 6 months, and they include replacing the Haldex oil and filter at the back of the car. There's a video covering that and quite an ingenious way of how to get the oil back in the car. I've also replaced the engine oil and the engine oil filter, and I've got a beginner's guide to do so on the channel. The filter replacement didn't stop there. I also replaced the cabin air filter, which is nice and easy to get to under the scuttle panel. I've got a video detailing that as well. I've also covered how to remove the air filter and change the air filter. For something as precious as my 18-year-old Audi, I think replacing the oil and filters is imperative to keeping it in tip-top condition. Try not to skimp on these jobs because they will come back and bite you. So if you have just bought an Audi TT or you're thinking about buying an Audi TT, one thing I would highly recommend you do is to make sure that the cam belt and water pump have been replaced. You have a receipt to say it's been done. If not, get it in the garage and get it done. I've literally just had this done in the last 2 weeks and I've owned the car for a couple of years. Should have got it done before now because there was no evidence of it being done. Cost of the job, well, that was £420. Seems a lot of money, but it will be a lot more expensive if you don't get that done. One of my finest improvements I've made over the last 6 months, I think, is inside the car, and that was replacing the pixelated dash. In my opinion, that's made the biggest difference to the car. Rather than looking down and not knowing what the symbols mean or what the car's trying to tell me, it's now nice and clear. I can read everything. While I do not cover the actual replacement of the LCD on the channel, I do cover how to remove the instrument cluster and refit it, and where I sent it away to have it repaired. Again, that was £80 to get it done, well worth it. When I took the front bumper off, I did find the headlight washers were not connected. When I delved a bit deeper, I found out why they were not connected. They just didn't work. So I have a video here on the channel on how you can service and replace your headlight washers and get everything working again. One job I was not expecting to do was to be replacing the Audi car keys. Unfortunately, I kicked one in the ignition when I was doing a separate job and snapped the key. So I do cover here on the channel the best way to replace and reprogram your car keys. Jobs outstanding from the first video include the paintwork. You may recall there was some peeling of the lacquer layer at the back of the car, so I am going to do that in a future video. I'm also going to cover the back bumper. The back bumper's got a crack in the paintwork, so I'm unsure if it's better to get the back bumper resprayed or buy a second-hand bumper and simply replace it, provided it's in good condition. I'm sure I'm going to be taking the bumper off anyway, so I will be covering how to remove and refit the back bumper here on the channel. While the car was having the cam belt and the water pump done, I was very fortunate that the guys at the garage gave me the ramp to look over the car in great detail, so I got some really good underneath shots. It did make me realise there's a lot of rusty components at the back of the car. The trailing arms, the control arms, it just looks rather nasty and tired. So I am going to cover how to sort the back end of the car out at some point. I have had a request to cover replacing and cleaning out the roof drains on the car, so that video will be coming soon also. I have had a request on the channel to cover replacing shocks. That video is coming because this particular car is rather spongy, let's say, on the country roads where I live, and it does tend to bottom out at times. So I think a new set of shocks will firm that ride up and it'll be much better to drive. I've also ordered an OBD2 sensor for the car. I'm going to cover that next week on what you use it for and how you read the codes out of the car for beginners. While the front bumper was off, you probably remember I was looking to find out where the coolant leak was coming from. And it looks to me like either the radiator is leaking, because I sometimes get a small pool of pink liquid under the car, sweet to the touch, so I think it must be coolant. I've also noticed that the condenser that sits over the radiator at the front seems to have like a wet patch on it, so I think either the radiator is leaking through the condenser or the condenser's damaged anyway, so I'm going to actually replace the condenser and the radiator in a later video. So that pretty much covers my jobs for the last 6 months. I hope you found that interesting, and I hope I've helped you along the way solve some of your problems and assist you. I want to make my channel a two-way thing, so if you out there have got jobs that you'd like to undertake but you're not sure about it, or you think, well, I'll give it to Andy and he can have a go, please do send it over in the comments. I'm more than happy to try it. Once again, I hope what you've seen today has been helpful. If it has, please give it a thumbs up. Think about subscribing for future content, and thanks once again for watching. Take care and see you soon.